It's another movie time, though. I'm gonna hit the opening, and if this causes the video to not be able to be uploaded, I'm gonna be
Not even cinema. It's just pure concentrated Kino.
just Kino. Anyway, we're talking about Gundam After War X.
After War Gundam X.
After War Gundam X. But yes, where do we start? So I guess I know where
Well,
to
here,
start.
how about this?
Well, okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
Oh, no, okay. Okay, I was gonna just read off like the plot synopsis and then go from there.
yeah, okay, that works.
The year is after War 15. 15 years after the end of the Seventh Space War, which led to the catastrophic destruction of much of the world. See colony drop picture here. The surviving residents of Earth try to make a living as best as they can in the post-apocalyptic landscape. Mobile suits and weapons left over from the war fall into the hands of civilians as well as other organizations on the planet. In an effort to keep the past from repeating itself, Jamil Neat brings together a crew of vultures, scavengers from the wasteland, to search for new types and protect them from being exploited. As they carry out this task, an old government rises.
Oh.
Once more between the newly formed United Nations Earth and the Space Revolutionary Army. Now the crew of the Freedom face a multitude of enemies as they try to prevent another catastrophic war.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Basically, not in this. It is not the same war. Point this out. It's not. It is not the Year One war or the 1 Year War. That is Gundam 79 and Universal Century, but it is basically the 1 Year War of space noids dropping colonies on Earth. You have new types. There's a Earth Federation. It is very similar, but it is not the same universe because there are various details that are different, which I think is important to point out because it makes it sound a lot like it's the same war, but it's not. It's a different war.
Every Gundam kind of sounds like the same war when you think about it.
Yeah, but this one seems like really, really like. This one is like basically an alternate universe where Zeon drops every colony on Earth.
Yeah, I can see that. But like, how do you feel? Let's start off initially. How do you feel about Garrett as your main protagonist? Your Gundam pilot for this series.
So like first episode is so first episode is shows the war happen, right? Colonies drop. There is the Gundam X that uses its big solar beam to like destroy like out like hundreds of mobile suits at once, along with I don't remember what they called them, but they're bit suits. Bits. They're basically funnel controlled mobile suits. If you know anything about Gundam, you know it's basically one mobile suit can control multiple using new type powers. But anyway,
Bits.
yeah, bits, not to be confused with Bit Cloud. But as yeah, Garrett shows up, and it's 15 years after the war in a post-apocalyptic desert where a not Zaku is being used to shake down a city or a town, and everyone's cowering because they don't have any weapons that can defeat this thing. And he uses his little like grappling hook to grapple up to the cockpit, and he has knowledge of how a mobile suit works to open it up and basically threaten the guy inside out, and then sell the mobile suit. And I'm like, that's not bad. Like, I think that's kind of cool. Like, his whole thing is kind of like knowledge. Like, we'll just get this. Well, I don't know if that's kind of spoilers, but his whole thing, his whole like power is knowledge. And I love characters where like their power is basically just knowing things.
Yeah.
So overall, I think he's fine. If we're talking just like episode 1.
Yeah. After he saves the village from the not Zaku rampaging through the town, he gets a contract from this strange person who's like, "Hey, there's a girl that got kidnapped. She's in this ship over here. Can you go rescue her and bring her back?" He's like, "Yeah, I can do that, no problem." And it goes over there, grabs her out of the ship, and starts to take her away. And then it's like, oh, you guys lied to me this entire time. Oh no, what do I do now? And then Tifa is like, go this way, go this way, dodge the bullets, dodge the missiles, and go this way. And then eventually leads him into a former Federation base, and that's when they come across the Gundam X.
Yes. Also, when you say ship, land ship, like a big hovercraft, not like a spaceship.
Oh yeah, big ship,
Yeah,
big ground ship.
Ground ship, which I really like.
The Freedom.
The Freedom. The Freedom. Not, it's not Freedom. But yeah, gets the Gundam, uses it. I don't remember the name of the ability, but it's
satellite cannon.
Satellite cannon. Yes, it is a solar powered cannon that uses a microwave bounced laser from the moon. There's a big facility on the moon that collects like solar energy and then converts it into a big microwave beam that fires back to wherever the Gundam X is, and concentrates it through its big gun. And he just like obliterates like dozens
dozens of people, dozens of mobile suits, and a nearby mountain range.
Yeah. And Tifa, who, spoilers, is a new type. If not, you couldn't get that from the fact she's like, dodge the missiles. She blacks out because just the amount of death around her. And eventually they're intercepted by that same ship that Girard rescued Tifa from. And that is where we are met with... Add the list.
Jamil Neat and his crew.
Yes, Jamil Neat.
Jamil Neat, the pilot of, or not the pilot, the captain of the Freedom, along with what was his name? Along with Whites and what was the other guy's name?
You're asking the wrong person.
It was Wits. It was Wits who piloted the Airmaster, and it was Rowaby. Rowaby is the other guy.
Rowaby, right? Wits and Rowaby, because I want to remember their names because they're pretty good characters. But yes, and basically that's kind of where we revealed what's up with Captain Jamil? What's he doing? And
I was going to say, Jamil's whole thing is that it turns out he wants to go around rescuing new types to stop them from being exploited, because new types are able to see forward in time, give warnings, and they have a broad array of psychic powers. So people will absolutely take advantage of that.
Which is exactly...
Because he's also a new type.
Yes, which is exactly what the people who contracted Gerard to try and rescue Tifa were afterwards, because she was a new type. They wanted to exploit her. We're revealed that they are part of the new Federation, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Basically, the Federation is trying to gather a bunch of new types back up, even though the world has basically ended and civilization's kind of collapsed. It's kind of like the Enclave from Fallout, where it's like the higher-ups of the government of the Federation are still alive, and they have their own little like micro-government that they're trying to rebuild and reconquer Earth to take the fight back up into space, basically. And it kind of gets into like episode of the week, monster of the week, in a way, but more like...
What's funny is that it does go into episode of the week, but it starts off with like the entire crew being together, and then it separates the crew, and it has Rowaby and Wits kind of go do their own thing, because they're mercenaries contracted to the Freedom and not necessarily on it. So they kind of like fracture the crew after episode 1, and then they slowly bring the crew back together.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But it's basically just going around trying to find new types is kind of the plan. And they have the main antagonists are introduced pretty early. Not really
by
revealed.
Episode 2.
Yes. It is a pair of brothers that have some sort of pseudo new type power. It doesn't get into it at the beginning. and they are just kind of there initially to be like foils slash antagonists, and they show up frequently, and then we'll eventually get like lore into like what their whole deal is. But they just kind of show up, job a bit, and then also there's
Leave.
yeah, pretty much. There's also various bandits. I really like the fact that you have like a post-apocalyptic setting with like bandits and mercenaries in mobile suits. I think that's pretty cool and pretty peak. And I think I even mentioned that when we were first watching this, that I was reminded of Zoid's New Century, which is funny because we recorded that earlier. But like, do you see it now after we watched Zoid's New Century?
Oh yeah, I see it now.
Because they're rolling around in like a big land ship. They got like their own little team of guys, and then they fight like bandits and mech suits. You know, there's something though. But we eventually they travel to the snowy place first, right?
Yes, they travel to what's effectively like Russia at this point, what's formerly Russia, and you get the snowboarding Zaku's. Which, why is that not a model kit? Bandai, please fix this.
Yes. Well, not technically Zaku's. They're basically Zaku's. Uh,
Basically,
basically. And that's also where we are introduced to the next new type. I forget their name because, of course, I do. But their whole thing is that the leader of this city is a former space, not Xeon, not Xeon
space
scientist.
revolutionary.
Yes, space revolutionary, not Xeon. Scientist, and they are producing uh, basically a big mobile armor, if I remember correctly.
They're building a big mobile armor under the city.
Yes, kind of using the city as like a shield for like the last 15 years. And they have like this new type with them, and I don't remember the name of the new type, but their whole thing was like they mentioned that they were made to be a new type. Like they're like one of the few survivors of the program. Is that true? Did I that the lore? Anyway, but initially this person kidnaps Tifa and is like, hey, you're a new type, I'm a new type, let's protect this city. And then it turns out, oh, wait a minute, the scientist that made them effectively is a space revolutionary, and they were making them to pilot this mobile armor to destroy basically the world.
Yeah, Karis was the name of the girl
Karis, also
or
guy, yeah.
guy.
You know, the anime. Uh, but yeah, basically it's like, hey, Karis, they were made to pilot this mobile armor effectively, and if I remember correctly, how that all goes down. It's like its own
It's
little
effective. It's its own arc in the series. Like it's the only like full length arc, and it lasts from
Oh,
episode 10 to 14. So
y-
4 episodes.
we missed a character.
Did we?
That bandit lady that was a former resident of the Space Revolutionaries. Oh, her dad
Right.
was. Her dad was.
Right. So there's this whole little arc, this whole little arc before this, where oh, the reason that we keep getting attacked by bandits is because we have the Gundam X. I know. I'll just take it into town and I'll sell it. And that will be all of our problems gone.
Oh yeah.
So he goes into town, sells the Gundam for like, I think it was like $5 million. And then he's like, that's cool, but now who's going to pay for the controller to the mobile suits? And then she comes up and is like, haha, 10 million. And
Yeah.
then she tries to groom him out of the Gundam X, and he's like, haha, I'm an orphan in this desert, in this fucking post-apocalyptic world. Get away from me, woman. Your feminine wiles have no power here.
Only the power of money.
And she gets so pissed off by that she continues to be a recurring antagonist for most of the series.
That's true. She was her whole motivation, like in the beginning, was like I was spurned by this teenager, I'll kill him.
This 15-year-old boy, he dared not be charmed by my feminine wiles. I'm gonna kill him. How dare he?
But yeah, she also shows up at that Russian town, and as a former, as the daughter of a space revolutionary scientist or officer, I don't remember. She and the space revolutionary scientist that is building the mobile armor kind of team up. They have a whole thing. It ends with spoilers: the mobile armor being destroyed, along with like thousands of people died in that.
Yeah.
It was rough. But the new type, forget his name already, Karis, is like, well, shit. I was made to be like a weapon of mass destruction. What now? And they're like, well, do your best. See about trying to rebuild, And
And then he's like, yeah, I'm gonna stay here and I'm gonna make sure that we rebuild so I can atone for what I've done.
yeah, and then they're like, you know
Even though
what? Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, even though they didn't really do anything that bad of their own accord.
Yeah, but I mean, I get feeling the guilt
I
of
get it. I get it, but at the same time, baby girl, it's not your fault.
baby girl. It's not your fault. And then they're like, all right, cool. Let's go keep looking for more new types to the beach. And we had a beach episode where we had an episode missing from our watch list, but it really didn't matter too much. Like
before that, so we
okay.
had the whole arc with the new type, and then we have this one-off episode.
Oh right,
called,
yes, we got to talk about the one-off.
I wonder if there's a heaven. Which, by the way, every single episode name is a line that gets spoken in the show, which is a really cool touch. But this episode just kind of is like Rollaby and Wits just kind of go and do their own thing. Wits goes back to his hometown to make sure that his family's doing good, give them money, and Rollaby goes to give flowers to all of his lovers over the eons.
Dude, this episode ruled, and I was like kind of shocked when you mentioned that it's like the lowest rated episode of the series.
Yeah, this episode, I'm going to look it up on IMDb again to make sure to get the actual score. But
yeah, so you have the guy who goes back to town. If I remember right, his dad was killed by bandits who use mobile suits.
Yep.
And he's goes back to town and he's giving the money that he earned as a mercenary for Jamil and them to his family to be like, hey, I'm helping support you. But he doesn't tell them that he's a mech pilot because they don't like mech pilots, obviously, and that it killed his dad. While there, the family is acting weird, and they're also hiding something from him. And what they're hiding is that the mom has remarried. She's married a new guy in town who, by all reports, is like really nice. But they're hiding it from the son because they think that he's gonna flip out. And you get a really nice arc of him going to like what was the exact series of events? Because he eventually uses the mech to fight off bandits again that show up in town, and
bandits come back into town and they start blowing stuff up, and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna stop this if no one else will."
Yeah, because he's like, well, he's a mech pilot, right? So the only thing he can fight a mech with is another mech, specifically a Gundam. But then he also like meets the guy that is his new stepdad, basically, and he's like a bartender, if I remember right.
He goes to a bar after getting into a fight with his mom, and is like, just starts talking to him about like how she's changed, how like his whole life and stuff, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, that's crazy," and then it turns out he's the stepdad.
Yeah, and it all comes at like back around again, where it all works its way out. He still leaves home again, but if I remember right, he does approve of the new stepdad.
He's okay with the new stepdad. He still is kind of like a bit pissed off with his mom, but he drops the giant suitcase filled with gold on their front lawn,
Yeah, he does. And if I remember right,
and then he
that
just leaves.
suitcase of gold had been melted by a flamethrower into one giant chunk of gold, which is really funny.
Yes, it did. It did actually.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole thing was like the family's hiding stuff from him. He's hiding stuff from his family. They eventually get it out there. He proves that, piloting a mech can be for good, not just for evil. And he
And
learns
then
that his stepdad is a pretty good guy and is good to his mom and his sisters. And, it all goes.
it's kind of like the episode to be like, is my family okay? Oh, they're in good hands. Cool. I can then focus on work.
Yeah.
And then Roby continues to go about giving roses to his lovers, and then he finds out that his first one died. And he's got like super depression about it.
Yeah, the episode kind of like cuts back to Roby, and he's just like talking with like another girl, being like, you're my favorite. Here's a rose and some chocolates or whatever, right? And then,
hey, baby, you're my favorite. Here's some roses and chocolates. Get in the cockpit. All right, that's number 349 down. I've got 344 more roses. Let's go.
And then he gets to the one where it's just he's at like a cemetery. And he's just like, yeah, you were my first love, and you're the one that I wish was still around. And it's like, damn, that's heavy. Lowest rated episode.
At the start of the episode, Roby and Wits are kind of like just sitting around on a path, and there's like a sign that points to both the paths, and there's a line of like, I wonder if there is a heaven in this hell of a world we live in or something.
Yeah.
But it's such a good episode. It's rated at a 6.8, the lowest that this series has. It is the lowest rated episode, but it is like, it's so good and concise.
It's character story. Episode.
But I imagine we just came off of a big, long 4-episode run of an entire like block of story. True. And now we're kind of going to have what could be perceived as a filler episode.
I mean, yeah, you could call it a filler episode if you were stupid. But like, yeah. I don't know, it's like peak like character story, and I get like that might not be everyone's thing, especially in the Gundam series where it's like, ooh, cool robot, right? And they do use the cool robot, but
there's a lot of talk between the cool robot shots.
Yeah, the main character like does not show up at all. A lot of the main supporting characters don't show up at all.
It's literally just Wiz and Roby.
Yeah, but yeah, that episode was actually really good. I liked it a lot. Definitely more than a 6.8 for that specific episode.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Then we go into the next couple of episodes, which I'm pretty sure are just kind of like episode of the week.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly. That was episode 16 and 17. Yeah, right. Episode 16 was the episode we didn't have.
And it's something with a dolphin.
They get to the beach. Right. I think it was episode 17, actually. It was 16 or 17, one of those two.
It was the first one with the dolphin, because it cut from like that to like, oh, there's a dolphin, and it's like, what?
Right, yeah. Okay, so it was episode 16 that we missed, and episode 17 was there's a new type dolphin, and Jamil says even a new type, a dolphin with new type powers. Even I gotta say that's a bit far fetched. Oh, and it also has the line of, dolphins, they just never fight their own kind.
Not
they
true.
They have no sense of killing each other.
Not true at all. I don't know who said that, but they were wrong.
It was the doctor guy. Which, by the way, the doctor guy. Right. He's so cool. He's like the best character in this show.
Can we take a small break to just talk about each like supporting character, because they're so great. Like every like supporting character is fantastic. Because you got the two ladies on the bridge. Should we just talk about like Jamil? Just get it out. Just spoilers out there of who Jamil is and what his whole thing was.
Just a little bit longer. We got a couple things to go through before we.
Well, then I'll talk to some other supporting characters. The two ladies on the bridge are peak. You have, I don't remember their names, blonde-haired lady who is constantly hit on by Roby, and Then you have
There's a constant will they won't they. Also, it's Tonya and uh someone else. What was her name?
But and then you have the other lady who is she's like kind of in love with Jamil, the captain, but she's like also tries to take up the reins of command whenever Jamil is incapacitated, which happens a good couple of times.
Oh, it's Sayla and Tanya. Tanya is the one that spoilers gets goes off with Wiz, and the other one is Sayla.
I'm not confusing Roaby and Wiz, am I?
Roaby is the womanizer. The other Wiz is the one with
Yeah,
the cool jacket.
but Roaby and Tonya are the ones that are constantly in the will they won't they, right? Or am I
It's Roaby and Sayla.
Sailor? Sorry, Sailor.
Yeah, there's that kind of like semi-triangle going on between Roaby like Sayla. Sayla kind of likes Roaby, but she also really likes Jamil too.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I misremembered. Uh, but yeah, they're great. They got their own interactions. Uh, and the Doctor is just you've seen the meme of actually. You know what? I could just pull up the meme.
You've seen the meme, you know what this guy's about.
I am a doctor, but oh, I'm a healer. Sorry, I'm a healer, but that's him. That's the guy. It's the Doctor from the show. His whole thing, he's just like words of wisdom. He'll just
Yeah,
show
yeah.
up and be like, yeah.
Oh, let me see if I can find it.
He just, he helps Tifa, which I really find it funny that her name's Tifa. He helps Tifa a lot because she's like very quiet and reserved as a new type, and struggles to like socialize with people on the ship. But the Doctor's always kind of there to like talk to her and motivate her a bit. Wait, it's
Doc,
peak.
the doctor is that guy that's like he always knows the exact right thing to say.
Yeah,
He is the wisdom of the series.
true. But going back to like the actual episodes, Dolphin and if I remember right, there are pirates, mobile
there
suit
are
pirates.
there are, and the next episode is the container that fell to the bottom of the ocean that has a woman in cryostasis in it.
Yes, and I'm trying to remember. Was it the two brothers? They always get their little fingers and everything. Was it them that were trying to have that submarine pirate captain go get it? Was that the whole thing? Why were they going after the container? How did they
I
find the
believe,
container?
yes, I believe that they knew that it was a new type down there, so they're like, pirate submarine, go fish it up. And then her new type powers cause a whole bunch of commotion.
Yes, because that's when we first see the bit suits, right?
Yeah, yes, that's actually the first time we see the beast pit suits.
Which are suits controlled by new types. She is a new type in cryostasis. And that's also when we learn that of her history with Jamil.
Sorry, could you repeat that? Discord cut out.
Yeah, Discord's shitting itself right now. That's also when we learn of her history with Jamil, right? Maybe.
Sorry, could you repeat that? You Discord cut out once more.
That's when we learn about her history with Jamil, right? Discord,
Right,
please. Okay.
right. She was like a new type that helped Jamil during the war.
Yes, and is that also where we find out where Jamil was up to during the war?
I believe it was shown off earlier, but this is kind of like it shows into more detail about what he did.
Yes, so we'll just go into it. The very first scene, which is the Gundam with the big laser killing like hundreds of mobile suits, trying to stop the colony drop, was da da da. Jamil, he was the pilot. He's the pilot of the Gundam X that was using the big
Before
solar
the
beam
war.
during the war. Before
During
after
War Gundam X.
during War Gundam X, yes. But he's like the Amuro of this world. Like, the Xeon Federation conflict is basically the exact same in a way as this one. He would be the Amuro. He was him.
He was Amuro. He was the 15-year-old child in the pilot seat.
And now he's
if Amuro had a Quattro Vagina persona, that would be Jamil.
pretty much. Jamil is basically just
Quattro Amuro.
Amuro Vagina, yes. But they're not able to take her out of stasis. I don't. Oh, did she? Oh, God, I don't remember. Did she die in that episode?
She wanted to, if I remember correctly, it has been a minute. She wanted to not be used as a weapon, and she also can't come out of stasis because it'll kill her.
Right.
Because if I remember correctly, she's at the bottom of the ocean still.
Yes.
And she's like, "Yo, Jamil, it's not your fault. You gotta let me go. The accident was 15 years ago."
True. Yes, do that, and then we get to the island, right?
And after she gets off, they call the sea of Lorelei, which was her name, and is also the name of the episode.
Oh, sick. But then we get to the island, which is a Federation base, and I believe they get captured.
Yes, because they are on the beach and they see the satellite cannon come, like the beam of the satellite cannon coming from the moon down to Earth.
Right, and they're like, "What the hell? Someone else has access to the satellite cannon?
We gotta go over there."
But also, there was a filler episode that is kind of important. When they go to a different island / coastal town to like resupply, and the two ladies it's kind of like the two ladies get their own episode in a way. The two ladies that are part of the crew go off, and the blonde-haired lady meets that woman bandit that was the daughter of the Space Revolutionary Army scientist.
But right, she's like just kind of like, "I'm done with mobile suits and stuff now. I'm just gonna run this restaurant, and that'll be that. This will be my life, I guess."
Yeah, and then she meets I forgot her name. The blonde-haired lady. And they start chatting. They become really good friends, like really quickly. And
Tonya is the guy that is the girl she meets.
Tonya,
the blonde.
Tonya's the blonde one, right? And they become like good friends, but because they never seen each other, because they, in mobile suits are on the bridge of a ground ship, they don't know that they've been fighting each other or that they're enemies. Yeah. And I think at one point it's like they go to a bar together, and like for a moment it's almost like Gerard is gonna go in there. But
yeah, and then Tifa's like, "Let's go this way."
Yeah, and then they end up separating, and if I remember right, Tonya invites her aboard the ship for like the next day, but for whatever reason she doesn't take her up on the offer. Don't remember why.
She just feels really bad about what she's done. Like she tried to kill them, and it'd be kind of awkward to be like, "Hey, I know I tried to kill you, but I'm on the
right,
ship
she
now."
finds out that the ship is the same ship she's basically been trailing, and is like, "Oh damn, well, no way am I gonna be able to fit in there." So she doesn't take her up on the offer, and then they sail off to continue their journey towards Laser Island.
Yeah.
Where they find the Federation has updated. Oh! We forgot something. Well, that's more for like specific Gundam specifications, but talk about like all the cool bits and gubs on the Gundam X. Then they go to the island, and it's like, oh, why is the satellite cannon here? Oh, the Federation has updated a Gundam X. In fact, it is the Gundam X that Jamil piloted way back in the war.
How can you tell that it's the Gundam X that Jamil piloted?
I don't remember.
It has sideburns.
Oh, it does.
The Gundam X that they take apart has sideburns, and they strip it for parts, and they put the parts onto what is now called the Gundam Double X.
Yes, it has two cannons, which might sound stupid, but it's actually really cool.
Oh my god, the Sakuga transformation for the Double X is like I could just sit here, I could jork it to that.
I could jork it right now.
It's like it's so oh oh it's so good.
But yeah, bunch of stuff happens, and basically, oh right, another thing that I really liked about Jamil's character is that he has like Gundam PTSD, and he really doesn't want to pilot a mobile suit, but if I remember right, he kind of has to during
He
this
has to a
part.
couple times.
Yeah, did he have to
And
before this point though?
he did one time before this point, and he was like super like
Freaked out.
I don't want to get in there.
Yeah, but
and
basically,
and so, I think the mechanic said like either the mechanic kid or Garrett is like, oh, so he's got cabin sickness for the mobile suits, and he's like, don't say that, I have PTSD.
but yeah, basically through various shenanigans and happenings, the Double X ends up in the hands of the protagonists along with the X. So now you have two. Uh, and from this point on, really, the protagonist just kind of uses the Double X, while the Gundam X is occasionally used by Jamil.
And also, one of the cool parts is that before this, the Gundam X is like the only weapon it had was a satellite cannon, which you can't really use that every single day.
Well,
So they get some armaments to equip it with, like the harmonica cannon and the blaster, and it's like this is Garrett's mech, and then they get to the Double X, and it's like, actually, Jamil, this is yours now.
yeah,
I don't know, I just really like that.
the Gundam X. I'm trying to pull up. Can't find it where it has like the shield that's also like a cannon. So cool.
It's so cool.
Also, you could also like push and pull with it. So neat. From here, what did they do? Oh, they had like a whole thing where they were helping a small like republic resist its neighbor who was getting the support of the new federation.
Yeah, and then they're like, Roll B's like, I really don't want to get involved with this. We really shouldn't be involved in this at all. And Wiz and Garrett go out and fight, and they fail. Actually, the Republic actually wins in the end.
Yeah, there's not too much like main plot being pushed forward though. But then they get to space. Why do they go to space?
So what happens is it's a long course of, I believe, from submarine, control the X, divider to Jamil. So from like episode 20 to, I want to say, 30. Episode 20 to 30 is kind of episode of the week. It's effectively the twins being like, during the 4-year war, you were the cannibal of Taiwan.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
You will pilot this new mobile suit and go out there and get them, and then they job and get blown up.
And it's always like the biggest like war criminals they can find, being like, this man has strangled 12 people with his bare hands.
This guy has a dual personality when he's inside and outside the mech, and he was known as the Ghost of Tsushima.
Right, yeah. I forgot about
just like the biggest war criminals they could find. And if for some reason they do survive the encounter with Garrett and the gang, the twins will just kill him.
That's true. They do that. That's also where we find out that before that, but we find out that the twins are in fact agents of the new Federation. They are pseudo new types. They're not quite new types. Their only power.
They are new types. They're just classified as D rank new types, which their only psychic power is that they can communicate to each other over any distance, which that alone is kind of a very, very powerful power.
Yeah, honestly, but it's a very powerful power, but like not for like mobile suit pilots, I guess. But anyway,
I guess when the Federation is like, we have two people. We have one that can see. We have one that can see through time and turn back machinery to when it was on the assembly line to deactivate all the mobile suits. Or these two people who can talk to each other.
yeah. But and was it the new types? Ah, dang. Because they had like the new type preserve is not the right word. The new type, the like new type foundation or whatever that kind of went rogue from the Federation. I don't remember where that fits in, but we can yada 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 a little bit of the upcoming stuff.
Yeah.
They go into space, as you do.
They do the whole thing of like get the war criminal, put him in the suit, have him go fight. They do that for like 5 or 6 episodes, and then eventually they kidnap Tifa and they go to space with her to the space revolutionary colonies.
Right, and that's why. Wait, who kidnaps her? It wasn't the brothers.
It wasn't the brothers.
Oh,
I believe.
I think it was the New Type Foundation. They were like
Yeah.
the new. They were like the whole thing is kind of similar to Jamil's plan of gathering new types, but they're doing it to send them into space and to send them to the space revolutionary side of things.
Yeah, because new types are a spacefaring race. They should all new types should be in space. They should not be on Earth where their souls are way down by gravity.
Right. And so follow they follow her up. Gerard at least does. And if I remember correctly, during all that, they're escaping the new Federation, and in the process, Jamil and the crew and Rowaby and all of them get imprisoned.
Yes, they get imprisoned while Garrett is going up into space to rescue Tifa.
Yes.
Which also, while we're up in space, we see that colonies kind of just go about business as usual. Big surprise there. And we also run into the Red Comet, the veritable Red Comet himself, Jared's total rival and not gay lover.
Yes, the Shah equivalent who fought Jamil during the
Lancerol Duel.
What a name. And his whole thing, the colonies aren't necessarily running perfectly in the same way because there is a resistance group to the Space Revolutionary Army that are also space noids, but they're really small. I'm gonna cough again.
They're they're really small in the fact that like they're there for 2 episodes and then they all get wiped out except for the girl that pilots the G Falcon.
Right. Oh, and that combines with the.
It does, and it's so cool.
But yes, basically they get the Space Revolution Army is using a big solar cannon, right? And they're like, we're gonna use this to take down the new Federation because the war is brewing up again. After 15 years, same old shit.
Yeah, and they use the solar cannon on the rebel base as like the test run, and then Garrett goes and blows it up with the satellite cannon.
Yes, gets Tifa back, but then before they return to Earth, they are intercepted by the brothers and the Federation army that has now basically followed them into space. Do they go back to? They must go back to Earth.
Yes, the Federation army is coming up from Earth, and then Garrett gets in between them and the Space Force, and then they shoot this big space cannon, and then they just kind of like stop fighting, gets Tifa, and they both go down to Earth.
And
because they do rescue Jamil and the gang from being executed in the ditch.
True, but not just them. Actually, it was that new type from the Russian city. What's his name? The one that was.
Karis.
What was it?
Karis.
Karis. Yes. They said Garrus, and I'm like, what? Curious. But yeah,
Calibrating.
they show back up and they're like, "Yo, we are kind of forming a bit of a resistance to the Federation ourselves." Um, and luckily we showed up and we were able to rescue you. You guys are free. They all join back up and form like the big group of people now. And I don't remember how they get back. Why do they go to the moon?
Let me see.
When and why? Oh, if I remember correctly, the Space Revolutionary Army, learns about what's going on the moon. That there's a big base there with the satellite weapon, and, and they're trying to take control of it. And the Federation's also going to try to take control of it. And so they're like, we gotta get the squad's got to get there first because
everyone's going to the moon.
Everyone goes to the moon.
Everyone's trying to get to the satellite cannon so they have their hands on the ultimate weapon. But it's also protected by a bunch of bits.
Yes, a bunch of bits
that protect the platform. And that shoots down anyone that comes by until eventually it's like, hey, lead ship of the Federation, lead ship of the Space Revolutionaries, Frieden, all three of you come in. You're going to park in slots number A, D, and B.
Yes.
And then they all get in. They all come into the center of the facility, and then
they realize that this facility is basically an AI that is made up of the first new type that they just have discovered.
It's a new type. So you remember Iron-Blooded Orphans, right?
I do, yes.
You remember Ein, how he's the guy that gets turned into a brain in the suit?
Yeah.
It's effectively that, but they're a brain in the jar for the entire weapon platform.
Yes. And
called Dome.
And they're like, I want to stop war. Can we not do this anymore? If I remember correctly.
Then there's a whole talk about what it means to go to war and all, war does war have meaning? What are new types? And then Jamil is like, you know what? Takes off sunglasses. Maybe I've been clouded by the word new type my entire life. Oh,
Also, that is, I believe, the first time Jamil actually meets his rival from the not 1 year war for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. They actually meet face to face and they're like, oh, hey, it's you.
And he takes his sunglasses off for the first time, being like, you know what? Maybe what does new type even mean? Because new type is such a broad definition of powers. A new type is a dolphin. A new type is this thing that runs the thing. You can see forward through time. What is a new type?
Yes. And then the brothers are like, no, that's cringe. War forever.
War is cringe because you labeled us as cringe. So now we're going to use the satellite cannon to blow up both the Federation and the Space Revolutionaries.
Yes.
And they fire one shot off, and they kind of get both armies, and then both lead ships come off of the dome. And then they see, you fired at us? Well, you fired at us. And then they start to fire at each other. And then they get shot a second time with the satellite cannon and the vaporizes both capital ships.
Yeah. And then the brothers are defeated. And what happened? I think the Not show ends up going back because he doesn't die.
Yeah, he doesn't die.
He leads space, basically.
Yeah, after war, there's peace talks between the Revolutionary Army and the Federation, which is the spokespeople are Jamil and his rival. Which, by the way, the lady, what was her name? Sayla does confess to Jamil, and Jamil's like, "You'll still love me even though I'm broken and a new type," and she's like, "Yeah, I love you." I'm like, all right.
Did Roby and Tanya ever get together?
Roby and Tanya?
Yeah.
Tonya and Wiz get together. Roby gets together with the girl that Garrett spurned.
Oh. I could have sworn, wasn't it Rowaby and wasn't it always Rowaby that was like hitting on Tonya?
He was hitting on Sayla,
Oh, okay.
and Sayla is like, I appreciate it, but I'm going to go after Jamil instead.
Right. Love triangles, you know.
Yeah. Also, it does seem kind of like it might seem like we're just kind of like breezing right. Originally, this series takes place over 39 episodes. It was actually supposed to be 49 episodes, and they lost 10 episodes.
Yeah, it kind of goes a little quick there at the end. Uh, Also, I did not realize it was 39 episodes. A lot of stuff happened in 39 episodes.
But it makes you imagine what if they had those extra 10 episodes.
True. But recap aside, because we're like 15 minutes in. Like I said, a lot happens in 59 episodes, 39 episodes.
Oh yeah, and like the sakuga, the animation, the sound design, the music, the
And
openings and the endings. Oh, it's all top notch.
individual characters, I think, were like really strong. Because like we talked about the character episode of Rowaby and what's his face, but like Jamil's a great character because he has PTSD and he's like the Amuro of this world. Uh,
Jamil,
Even
uh,
Garage.
I got to touch on Jamil just a little bit more because Jamil is one. He's 30 years old. This takes place 15 years after the war. Garrett is 15 years old, so it's kind of like he's helping himself 15 years ago in a way.
Yeah, I like Gerard. Gerard? Garrett?
Garrett.
Garrett. I like Garrett a lot because he's not a new type. Like when I first was watching, I'm like, oh, I bet he'll be like a new type or something. No, he's just a guy. He's just a normal guy.
He's just the guy that knows how to steal a Gundam.
Yep. And then in the Gundam universe, that's all that matters sometimes. Even
Hey, can you steal a Gundam? You're a Gundam pilot now.
pretty much, Karis is pretty good. Even though they kind of dip in the middle of the show when they do show up, it's like, oh yeah, they're spending their time rebuilding everything. Uh, oh, what's her face? The bandit lady. She does end up eventually joining up with them.
Yeah, it was after they get the double X, the Federation is just kind of like bombing anyone that doesn't agree with them, and they bombed the island that her bar was on.
Oh yeah, wasn't she
And
getting married to like an accountant or a tax
yeah,
collector or something? And he
yeah,
just
she
gets
was.
fucking vaporized.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's rough. But yeah, the only like Tifa's okay. She just was kind of there for a lot of it, but fine,
she's
yes.
generic new type kind of character, but like she grows.
She does grow.
She, but like there's so many good characters and there's so many good character moments. Like everyone has that moment where it's like I like you for this.
Do you remember midway through there was a character that was part of the new Federation? They were like a commando like leader, and they had a mission where they had to take over the ship or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then through various circumstances, Tifa told what was it? Tifa told him like now is not your time to die or something like that. Or whatever. And he eventually ends up going on to like actually help them on the island with the double X and he gets killed then. And it's like, wow, this dude just like did in like a series of a couple episodes had like a whole arc.
Yeah. He feels like kind of like Ramba Rawl in a way.
Oh, he does feel like Ramba Ball. He is kind of like the
But
Ramba of this universe.
but instead of just like, haha, I'm gonna kill myself now. He's like the new type steps in and is like, hey, wait, not yet,
That's true. He
not
did try
yet.
to blow himself up with a grenade, but
He did, and then Tifa's like, hey, that's cringe. Don't do that.
yeah, yeah. Like individual characters were like really strong in this show, and the overall plot is good too. Like, don't get me. It's not like the plot's boring, but the characters are good. Like the plot's like solid as well. And
There are a couple of points where it does drag on the antagonist side because they don't really get time to explain why they're doing all the things that they're doing.
that's true. The two brothers are kind of just
They're just generational haters. They're just generational haters. Like live Frost Brothers reaction. We want you to pilot the GX Gundam until you die.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, overall, the show's just really good. It's basically like an alternate universe of the 1 Year War. So like, if you like 1 Year War stuff and you wanted like, hey, what would happen if it was like 15 years in the future, but not like the events that played out in the 1 Year War.
If you ever wondered what it would be like if Amuro had a Quattro Vagina persona, this is your anime.
I also really like the mech designs. The Not Zaku is really cool as a Jabba suit. The Not GM is like really cool. The
There's a lot of cool designs in this show.
the Gundam X is like really cool. I like has sort of like a glass cockpit look to it. The Double X obviously is really cool. It's got a whole bunch of stuff going on. It's really
Also
good.
the opening animations are so cool.
True.
It's got that like early 90s like psychedelic synth that is in all Japanese anime at the time.
Yeah, it reminds me.
And you get that cut of in the first opening you have the Gundam X standing in the water kind of like gazing up at the galaxy. And then in the second opening, you have Jamil in the same position staring out into the galaxy. And it's like, it's so cool. It's so fucking cool.
I kind of wish the Gundam X got more time because like with the harmonica gun or whatever on it, it was like super cool. Eventually, yeah, Jamil ended up using it more often, which is cool. I really like him as a character.
Yeah, Jamil is like my favorite part of the show.
For real. So good. Also, he looks like a real grizzled 30-year-old. I don't think I've shown him a picture of him yet, but like,
Jamil, I don't know. Jamil has a lot of depth to him. He's like, he feels bad about what happened during the war. He wants to make amends for it, and he also wants to help Garrett and the future generation be better than what he was, all at the same time.
oh
And
yeah,
then also being like, while also being clouded by, I gotta find the new types, I gotta protect the new types, and also realizing I've been worried about the new type thing way too much.
that's true. His big thing is like I've been worried way too much about trying to track down and protect new types when like it's such a broad term that it's like, well, maybe just extend that to everyone if you can. You know,
I mean, if a dolphin could be a new type,
a dolphin can be a new type. It's because they never kill each other. Not once. Not ever. Marine biologists fucking screaming at their television. uh, any other specific thoughts on After War X?
it's really really good. I think that they deserve to have another 10 episodes. I honestly think that Sunrise should be like, hey, let's just go ahead and finish double. Let's just finish Gundam X. Let's just like redo. Let's just take the last episode,
Just stretch it.
stretch it, and then put some more episodes in there. Just like it has a satisfying conclusion, but it feels like it's taking. It feels like the pace is 2 episodes long.
Yeah, I get what you mean. We
Like
should,
they're trying to cram 2 episodes worth of stuff into the final finale.
yeah. Also, I just really like the aesthetic of post-apocalyptic environment with mechs and bandits. I think that's really cool.
The post-apocalyptic aesthetic paired with like the punk aesthetic that a lot of the characters wear compare paired with the cell animation of the 1990s, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, reminds me a little bit of Chaotic Century. Lloyd's Chaotic Century. Which I don't know what's getting edited before what, but like, hey, if that's out, you should go check it out.
I'm pretty sure that's the reason why we started watching Zoids was because we watched Gundam X and I was like, oh, this kind of reminds me of Chaotic Century, and you're like, that reminds me of Zoids New Century.
I think so, yes. But I don't have any other thoughts. It's a good show. I like that a lot.
Yeah, go watch it. It's
What
on
would you
Tubi
give it?
right now, and allegedly for a book in an alternate timeline with sunglasses on, there might maybe kind of allegedly be all of Gundam X except for one episode on YouTube.
Yeah. Don't worry, that one episode where it introduced the dolphin apparently is not that important because we got it. What would you give it out of a 10?
And
Do 10?
yeah, I love Gundam X.
I'd give it like a 9. Too much water.
Too much water, too much new types.
Listen, Tone A is still my favorite, but this is a good close second, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah,
Alright, well,
that was Gundam X.
that was Gundam X. After the
Watch it.
war, this is what happens. This we need an after Gundam War X. After War Gundam X.
After War.
Yes.